Hi, it's me again. Well, today we're going to get into the subject of passing on. I saw a lot of posts on social networks this past holiday season about people who were so desperately grieving for their loved ones. And I wanted to make a video from somebody who had experienced passing on for those that are having a hard time so that they might understand where their loved ones are and what's going on with them from my own experience. In my near-death experience video, I spoke about being at peace when I passed. I can't express enough to people what that peace is, how you feel, how relieved you are, how thank goodness it's all over comes to you. And it's important that I let people know that during their passing, that that's what they're going through, that they are receiving that peacefulness that we so long for in our human life. So when people say they're at peace, although a lot of us who mourn the death of a child or a loved one, it sometimes aggravates us because we don't want to hear that, because we don't immediately take offense to it. I want you to know they truly, truly are at peace. Finally. And when they say finally at peace, even those who've had the easiest lives in the world are more at peace than you can even imagine. They don't, as in my own experience, after you pass, there is no missing somebody. You don't miss being with people. You don't miss the material world. You don't miss being around your family. Well, first of all, you get to be around them all you would like, but we'll get into that in a moment. Although people don't change when they die, their personalities stay the same. Their sense of reality changes or goes back to what it was because we've been there before. So if you are someone who mourns the death of a loved one and you worry that they worry about you, they don't, because they know what's coming for you. They know the answers that you seek. They know how you're going to get through that. Another question that I've been asked is, are they with me? During my near-death experience, I was allowed to visit anybody I wanted to visit. And the best way I can describe it is as though you're standing next to somebody, but you're invisible. Like the invisible man. You see them as though I see you when I'm standing next to you. But they don't see the deceased person in full form as you think. And the reason being is we come into this spiritual form after passing that's more like a light, like those taken in pictures, as in sphere forms or dusting forms or cloud forms. We're very visible to people who want to open up and see it. The moments when you see things move out of the corner of your eye, or you have a fleeting thought of that loved one, it's them. They're there. People ask why they don't appear to them. It's not about them, it's about you. When I had my near-death experience and I stood before my husband at that time, I remember saying to him that all he had to do was open up. If he allowed himself to see it, he could, and he would. And it was kind of like frustrated, although frustrated is not a good word because you don't have the same emotions after you pass that you have here. It's more, I can't even explain I was I was just wanted him to open up. Just a matter of fact, if you opened up and you really thought about it, you could see me. One of the things that happened during my near-death experience was that he was working on his circular saw or his bench saw. I don't know the name of it now, bandsaw. And on that bandsaw lay a screwdriver that to this day I remember as though it was yesterday. And after coming back from my car accident into the home, when I came back from my near-death experience, I walked in the garage and I had told him this story. And there stood that screwdriver sitting in the same place that I had already told him about. It was definitely confirmation that this did happen, as many things I've had confirmation throughout the years of this did happening. We as near-death experience people sometimes find ways to discredit our experience because nobody believes us, only finding out later that discrediting it's not possible because it will keep getting thrown back at us in synchronicities, saying this did happen and you're going to pay attention because it's happened for a reason. So when you ask if they're able to visit you, they do all the time. Their sense of being in one place at one time is not feasible. After your passing, you can be in multiple places at multiple times. As I expressed in my near-death experience, I was at my car accident, I was in heaven, I was at my husband's side, I was in the tunnel, I was at the top of the tunnel, all simultaneously. So to visit one and visit another simultaneous is very easily said. I do know that coming to visit my husband during that time, um, although it was easy to do, it did take effort on the spiritual side to do that. But I had a knowing that we were allowed to live with our loved ones. When we pass through, our role after passing through is to study and learn more. That's what passing is all about, which we'll get into in another video about the learning. But so when we pass, we simultaneously are doing the same thing. We're learning our lessons, we're receiving information in heaven, but at the same time, we're living among the living. We are allowed to watch TV with you. We think like you. We talk to you. Telepathy. Again, that takes us back to when you hear something or you think of something that it really is them speaking to you. There are many people who have witnessed, said for a moment I saw them sitting on the couch, or for a moment I saw them walking down the street, or for a moment I held the child in my arms and I looked down and there they appeared. That is true. That is actually happening. And it literally can drive somebody who's never had a near-death experience insane, especially when you go to tell others, because they're not going to comprehend it. And they're going to come up with all these reasons why you're imagining this. But it does happen. During my visit to my husband then, I could read his thoughts. I received his thoughts. And I always say received because it's like telepathy or like a radio sending wavelengths to us. As they think them, we understand them. It's not our thoughts, it's theirs. You know it's theirs. It's as though they're speaking out loud. So we received their thoughts. And he was thinking very heavy, very, very heavy. And again, in my near-death experience, I explained he was a heavy thinker. He always was worried about life and what he should do here and what he should do there and what he should do there. And that takes me back to when people have asked me, do they worry about us? He had a lot of worries on his mind, but that didn't concern me at all because those things I just knew he would get past eventually. And if he didn't, those were his own lessons. So I didn't bother me as to what he was worrying about. What bothered me is that he was not open enough to see me. And that if he was opened more and he could see me and he could learn from me, his life would be so much more fulfilling. So when you feel like your loved one is with you, or when you dream of your loved one, and that is another one of them coming to see you, that's their message that, hey, I'm still here. Know that they're actual messages from them. Know that they're telling you something. And listen. The more you listen, the more you open up that veil. And when I say veil, the first thing that comes to mind is kind of like a long satin sheet hung between you and that human form, or the spirit and the human form that's see-through. You can see it through it, but you got to really work on getting that veil to come down in order to do that. As you do this, as you recognize that they're with you, and as you begin to speak with them, and as you begin to listen to them, it will happen more and more, and the veil will slowly begin to come down. It's important that we all know that we come here for reasons beyond our knowledge when we first get here. Even the wisest and most spiritual people know that we have a purpose, but we don't always fully know that purpose until the time of passing. So those loved ones and children that have passed on, they had a purpose. Their purpose was fulfilled, and that is why they passed on. The atmosphere of heaven is undescribable, and I can't emphasize enough how happy you should be that your loved one is there. And always know that your loved one shares in your life continuously every day. I know it's hard to believe unless you have witnessed it yourself, but I myself, who have had 2 grandchildren pass on, could not be happier for them. I miss them every day. There are times that come up that I want them to be here, Christmases, holidays, birthdays. But I immediately remember those are the human feelings. Those are the selfish feelings that I have. I'm not saying anybody's selfish. I'm saying that in my own thoughts to me, after what I'd been through, I couldn't want anything more for my own grandchildren than to be at peace and happiness. And yes, they play with the other children. They interact with the other adults. They interact with God. They do sit on his lap. They do get to do all the things that we so hope and desperately desire for them. Because that's what I got to do. Anyway, that's kind of a short of mourning for a loved one, and how much you should know that they are always with you. They are very happy and very much at peace. And they will help you. All you have to do is ask, and then you have to open up to get your answers. Thanks. Be blessed. I love you all. And until the next video, have a splendid, glorious day.